Hello guys, Hyeperion here, back with another ST set showcase. I'm enjoying these honestly, and this is the 5th one I'm showcasing, and before we get to it, I want to know if you guys want to see the Magmatic Mystic ST set in the future, or if it's too late for that, please let me know. Anyways, this is the Horticultural Huntress ST set, coming from the first batch of sets in the War Story ST campaign thingy, along with the Mad God Messenger Priest set and the Pirate King Warrior set. The preset was about DPS, the warrior set was about shooting super high damage shots, and this set is about fire rate. So as usual, the first question that comes with all ST sets is how do you get them? This one drops on the Woodland Labyrinth and Magic Woods. It came out a while ago, so I don't have the footage of me getting the items, so I'll show Drake getting the set. 3 parts of the set drop in the Woodland Labyrinth. The Bergenia Bow drops on the Treasure Room, the Hollyhock Hide drops on the boss, and the Chrystanthemum Corsage drops on the squirrels. The final piece of the set, which is the Lifebringing Lotus trap, drops on the boss of the Magic Woods. I'd say the Lotus trap is the easiest to get since Magic Woods is a farmable dungeon in the Godlands. Then onto the Woodland Labyrinth we got the Hollyhock Hide armor, which simply drops from the boss. The Bergenia Bow is a little hard to get coming from the Treasure Room, which gets steamrolled and sometimes secretly killed, and you may miss it. Quick fact, the Treasure Room in this dungeon is guaranteed. It's through a hidden pathway which you must find. The hardest piece of the set in my opinion is the ring. Why? There may be multiple chances to get the rings through the squirrels, but normally when you're doing a Woodland Labyrinth, you're doing a chain because of an event, or someone wants to get a leaf bow, so people normally skip actually clearing the dungeons and you wait on rushes. That's my experience personally, otherwise it'll be one of the easier parts to get due to the fact that you have multiple chances of getting it, because there's multiple squirrels per dungeon. Now that we're covered where the set drops, let's see what each item does. First up we have the Bergenia Bow. This is a pretty cool sprite. A flower void bow I'd say. It shoots only one shot which does 160 to 195 damage. It has 8 range which makes it the bow with the longest range, and it's armor piercing, but it has a reduced 90% rate of fire, and finally it has a small 4% fame bonus which I wish was a little higher. Let's check its DPS on the DPS calculator and compare it with the other bows. This graph may look a little confusing at first glance, so feel free to pause. The Bergenia Bow is a green line in the graph, and for an armor piercing item, it's okay. It starts being the best DPS bow by 81 defense, which is pretty much only for armored enemies, stone guardians, avatar, and some other enemies. It's not bad at all, especially keeping in mind that it has the longest range of all the bows, and the bows that do deal more damage have significantly less range, except for the leaf bow, but that has slow shots. Comparing it to the Doom Bow, it's a straight upgrade, but trading off the pierce. Next up we have the Lifebringing Lotus trap. This item is really unique. Instead of throwing a trap and inflicting different things to your enemy, this trap buffs allies. Within 3 tiles, all players get healing and berserk for 4 seconds, so you trade debuffing enemies and damaging them to gain the ability to buff yourself and the group with berserk and healing. The thing is, in a group there's pretty much always a warrior and a priest or paladin, so the buffs are kinda useless because they are already there. For solo play, this is awesome for DPS and survivability as you get berserk on a huntress. I'd say this is a pretty nifty swap out. It does have a fairly large 110 mana cost, but that is evened out a little with the 40 passive mana it gives. It also gives 5 dexterity. Overall, this trap is cool, but it's not the best choice in groups. Onto the Hollyhock Hide armor. It gives 10 defense, 8 dexterity, 5 vitality, and 3 speed. On top of that, it also has a passive ability called Green Thumb. A 10% chance to receive 10 dexterity for 5 seconds when you get hit. It's clearly a DPS armor, so we can compare it to 10A, which gives much more DPS, unless you get the 10 dexterity buff, but that's unreliable. I'd say it's a good middle ground between Golem Garments and 10A, definitely a decent armor. For the final piece of the set we got the Chrysanthemum Corsage. I call this the croissant, but it sounds like corsage, and it kinda has the shape of a croissant too. This ring gives 70 mana, 5 speed, and 7 dexterity. Honestly, rings that purely give raw mana aren't that great, but hey, the rings in ST sets are generally underwhelming, mainly because they are the final piece that actually rounds up the set, and it's for the stat bonus, not the ring itself. That's all 4 pieces of the set covered. Combined, you get this sprite. Some green and pink fairy. Mine has a yellow and red theme that runs along all my characters though, cause I slapped those dice on. I think it looks great. The wings flap while you move, and you actually bob up and down, which is really awesome. That already makes the set a winner in my eyes. She shoots awfully fast, so you can't really judge the pattern on that. I mean, if you're shooting, you're probably not even looking at your character anyways. Now for the set combo. With all 4 pieces of the set combined, you get a total of 800 HP, 422 MP, 75 attack, 38 defense, 71 speed, 83 dexterity, 45 vitality, and 50 wisdom. In terms of survivability, this set is quite frail. Pretty much the equivalent of a robe class wearing a Grand Sorcerer robe and a Paramount HP ring. But hey, this bow has 8 range, so you're similar to a robe class anyways. For the other stats, you get a huge 71 speed, making it one of the fastest sets for the Huntress. And remember the reduced 90% rate of fire the bow had? Well, you can forget about that with the huge 83 dexterity this Huntress gets. It feels like you're under a berserk buff while using it, or like you're using a 1000 shot. And that's without berserk. With it, you're basically firing a minigun, which is so cool, and I love the shots too, shooting pink flowers. The design is great, and for me the aesthetics and style play a huge role in how fun the set is, not just the DPS, which is not lacking either. Let's check the DPS chart now. And would you look at that, comparing it to other Huntresses with decent sets, this set is actually really good for DPS. Amazing really, having a consistent 2700 DPS no matter the defense of the enemy, while also having the ability to berserk on top of that, and the bow has 8 range. With the Bard's Inspired buff, that's 10 range. Another thing I would like to point out is the set provides a generous 170 mana, meaning you get a total of 420 mana, which is essentially 4 throws of the trap, which gives healing to the player. So this set is great for people with weaker pets, although you'd probably have a decent pet by the time you get this set. There's one little thing about this set that isn't so amazing, and that lies within the trap. It's not so useful in groups, so you pretty much become mundane, and even when you do utilize this buff, you don't get it instantly. You need to actually get hit by the trap. In terms of set combos, this set doesn't really have any good ones. You wouldn't want to go out of your way to make combos with this set. Either have the full set, or use one of the 3 items which work decently on their own. That's all I have to say about the set. My personal thoughts? This is currently my favorite ST set that I've tried out. You are super fast and you deal nice damage, and shooting purple numbers is an instant win for me, and I love the style of this set. I'd say this set is definitely one of the better ones, so I highly recommend going for the set when you can.
Fighting battles we can't win. Can't you see the mess we're in?